it's windy. I'm so sorry. Ride it down. September 14th, 2019, a group of us went on a trip that would change our lives. It was our first trip to a bike park and we decided to go big. Whistler Bike Park. It really was all we dreamed of and more, and at the conclusion of the trip, we decided in unison we want to make this an annual trip. But as you can imagine, 2020 had plans of its own, as the Canadian border remains closed to visitors during the pandemic. We kept a sliver of hope for a domestic bike park trip, keeping our eyes on the coronavirus numbers and the closing dates for bike parks, and ended up pulling the trigger on Trestle Bike Park Labor Day weekend. 4 full days of riding just before the park started winding down, coming to the end of their riding season. We were beside ourselves with the conditions, the beauty, the trails, and just the fact we were able to pull off a bike trip in 2020. Halfway through our 3rd day of riding though, our first run after lunch, we were riding up a Rainmaker, a trail we had hit 15 times before. Just after the bend, there are a couple jumps, and then a jump I find a little awkward as the trail turns slightly right as you land. So the natural way to whip would be left, which is what I did. Somehow the bike got away from me mid-air and I wasn't able to bring the whip back. You know where this is going. I landed somewhat sideways, was thrown into the left sidewall, and body checked a stump with my left chest wall. I'm so sorry. Ride it down. Ride it down. You guys all right? I'm so sorry. Ride her down. Ride her down. Let's get the bikes out of the way just in case. Can you move, Tyler? Can you move just a little bit off the way just in case? Anything broken? Do you need help? You want me to call him? Your call, Tyler. Give me a sec. Thank you. We'll go. Okay. I was in significant pain right off the bat and did my best to slow my breathing enough to stay calm and think clearly. I was anxious to know the damage, and I knew I would not be able to get down the mountain on my own. I held my side and leaned forward to minimize the pain as a non-medical Trestle staff member drove me to the top of the gondola. At that point, medical patrol examined me, guided me to the gondola, and down the mountain. I wish I could remember the name of the young lady who took care of me. She was caring and did a wonderful job. There was a wheelchair waiting for me at the bottom, which got me to the urgent care. The severe pain in my ribs and back made it difficult to breathe deep, but thankfully there was no sound or sensation of crunching or crepitus, a sign of significant rib fractures. The 800 milligrams of ibuprofen they gave me did nothing for my pain. After a series of x-rays, we discovered at least 2 non-displaced rib fractures of my 5th and 6th ribs on my left. Sometimes serious complications can come with rib fractures, like pneumothorax, which is a collapsed lung due to air leaking into the pleural space. And it didn't help knowing that this complication requires a procedure where a cut is made through the chest wall in between the ribs in order to place a suction tube to suck out the misplaced air and reinflate the lung. The chest x-ray thankfully did not show a pneumothorax. The main treatment for rib fractures involves controlling the pain with medication so the patient can take normal breaths and thus avoid serious lung complications like atelectasis and pneumonia. I was only given 4 Norco pain pills, with Advil and Tylenol doing nothing for me. I had to strategically space out the timing and frequency of the pain medication in order to get back to Florida. For those of you thinking, why didn't you just prescribe yourself something? Although I can prescribe myself medication, it would be a red flag for me to write a controlled substance like Norco. The morning of our flight, I was in such pain I couldn't even put on my own pants. Thankfully, my brother Anthony was there to help me out, save the day. I took one of my last pain pills to get through the flight and had a doctor's appointment lined up right after I landed. So where does this all leave me? Well, it's been 4 weeks since the accident, and every sneeze since has felt like the wind is getting knocked out of me. But honestly, after 4 weeks, I do feel much better. I have not been on the bike at all. Well, that's not completely true. I did start some gentle rehab, including some time on the exercise bike here. I hope to get back on the bike very soon. Reflecting back, there are some good things that have come from this. It's good for doctors to become patients every once in a while, to be on the receiving end of a doctor's cold hands pressing on your chest wall right after the accident, to feel the anxiety while waiting for a report, to feel the pain. It's important for us to understand and empathize with patients. I've also been treated with osteopathic manipulation regularly since the accident, which has helped me so much in the recovery process. This has fanned into flame my love for osteopathic manipulation, a large part of what I do on a daily basis. If you made it this far into the video, you better hit that subscribe button or else I'm jumping through the screen and clicking it for you. Just kidding. So while I was editing this video, why is my face so red right now? Much better. My friend and financial advisor, Alex, called and he was asking about the trip and the accident, and I told him one of the most comforting thoughts I had after the accident, before I knew how long I would be out of work, was the fact that I have disability insurance, which simply put is a source of income when you're injured or sick. Now, Alex set me up with this disability insurance through Guardian Berkshire. He thought this was awesome, so he offered to sponsor the video. Thank you, Alex. Getting disability insurance is the #1 most important part of your financial planning process. It's protecting your moneymaker. So for me, I spent $300,000 on my education, years of hard work and sacrifice, and I don't want to lose my income because of an injury. Now, thank God I wasn't out of work for more than 3 days, but I at least have the peace of mind. Alex is a nice guy. I'm going to put his phone number below. If you want more information, you can contact him directly. Now back to the video. On the next one, I'll be taking you along as I test out Nunya, Markham's latest jump trail. I was so freaking nervous that day. Anyways, this video is long enough. Sayonara, peeps. Stay healthy, mind, body, spirit. Peace.